You decided that this is going to be the year that you boss up and start a new business or side hustle. You've got a great idea, a cool business name, and you've even opened a business bank account. But social media gurus, level up channels, and LLC Twitter all seem to be telling you that you need to create an LLC. But is this really true? Nope. Why you don't need an LLC yet? That's the topic of today's video on the other side of the break.
1-877 Levy-King, L-E-V-Y Levy-King, 1-877 Levy-King, LEVY-KING.com.
What's up, guys? Corey Hankerson here from Legacy Tax, and they call me the Levy King because I've helped thousands of clients with unfiled returns, back taxes, tax liens, and that's right, IRS levies. If the IRS took your check, the Levy King will get it back. 1-877 Levy-King, LevyKing.com. I'm also the author of End the Tax Nightmare, Insider Secrets to Beat the IRS and Reduce Your Tax Debt. Inside the book, I'll show you how to stop IRS levies, liens, and garnishments without paying the tax in full. How to set up the payment plan you want and not the one that they want. And how to potentially settle your tax debt for less than you actually owe. My book has been a top seller on Amazon for years. You can buy a copy of it right now for just $19.99. But I want to give you a copy of the book absolutely free. Just go over to my website, www.endthetaxnightmare.com. endthetaxnightmare.com, and enter your name and your email address, and I'll get you a copy of the book right away. No charge, not even for shipping. Totally free. Before we go any further with the video, I want to ask you to please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and hit that notification bell so that YouTube lets you know each time we drop a new video. Okay, guys, let's dive into today's content. If you've started a business, or you're even thinking about starting a business, you've probably been told by well-intentioned experts that you need to start an LLC. Let's check out what some of these Facebook and Twitter experts are saying. Now, this first one is not only false, but probably also criminal. Check out this post. It says, take $150 out of your stimulus. Go get you a LLC. Now you own your own business. Now go online and get the $5,000 small business grant from the SBA. That's how you turn $150 into $5K. Now you have $5K and own your own business. Take out a credit card in your business name, use half, then pay it off. Make your business credit perfect. Every time you spend $1, file it under the business. End of the year, file those taxes, pay those taxes, start living good. All off of $150. Thank me later. Survey says, in order to qualify for a PPP loan or an economic impact disaster loan known as an EIDL, you need to actually have already had the business before the coronavirus hit and have suffered a reduction in income due to the pandemic. You need to be able to say you were already in business, but then Corona hit and you've lost anywhere from 25 to 35% or more of your income that you were generating prior to COVID. You have to swear or affirm this stuff right on the application itself. All these people going around saying that you can just start an LLC today and poof, you're in business and qualify for a loan or grant are straight up lying to you. These people are setting you up for prison. If you follow their advice and put some fraudulent info on these federal documents, you might initially get a little cash, but I guarantee you the feds have people whose job it is to sit around all day and audit these applications and sniff out fraud. It may take several months or several years, but eventually you'll get caught up into some BS. If you're setting up an LLC just to try and get a stimulus check, you don't need an LLC. The other problem with this meme is that simply creating an LLC does not mean that you actually have a business. No, you have an LLC. An LLC by itself is just an entity, and you can choose to structure the business using the entity if you desire, but you still need to actually create the business itself. An LLC is to a business like a bank account is to $1 million. Lots of people have bank accounts, but very few have $1 million. Likewise, a lot of y'all have LLCs, but you don't actually have a business. If you're setting up a LLC, but don't actually have a business to go inside of it, you don't need an LLC. Another reason I've heard people give for starting an LLC is because it'll help you save on your taxes. Here's another post I saw recently. You can have an LLC and put your 7 to 17-year-old on the payroll, tax-free, up to $12,000 a year. He or she does not have to file a W-2 or 1099. In addition, you'll receive a tax write-off for paying them, things the rich already do. Imagine paying your kid $200 a month tax-free into their own bank account. And when they want shoes, food, clothes, etc., you can pay them with their card. Now you getting a tax write-off for money you gave them. Survey says, This, boys and girls, is called tax fraud. Why? Because the post implies that you can simply create an LLC and just give your kids money to buy shoes, food, and clothes and write those expenses off. In order for something like this to work, you'd have to actually have a legit business, and your kids would really need to be bona fide employees performing real services to the business that you would otherwise need to pay someone else to do. Those services need to be appropriate for their age and ability, and what you pay them needs to be commensurate with the job that they're actually doing. If you actually want to learn how to put your kids on payroll the right way, you should check out this video where I explain how to do it in more detail. Another point is that most of y'all are creating what is called a single member LLC, which means that you are the sole owner of the LLC. The IRS, or the sole member rather, of the LLC, or the sole owner of the business. The IRS treats a single member LLC as a disregarded entity, which means that they completely ignore it for tax purposes, and all income and expenses that come from the LLC are reported directly on your personal tax return. This is exactly the same as if you were a sole proprietor with no entity at all. So if they're going to disregard your LLC, why bother creating one at all? If tax savings is your goal, you should consider an S Corp instead of an LLC. For a detailed discussion on which type of entity saves you the most money at tax time, check out this video. But the short answer is that an S Corp saves you money by cutting your self-employment tax. But watch the video for full explanation. If your reason for setting up an LLC is to save money on taxes, you don't need an LLC. Now, everybody knows that if you start an LLC, you can immediately get access to business credit without being personally liable. You can buy luxury cars in your business name, and investors will come running to invest in your new home-based business, right? Now, obviously, I'm being facetious, but this person on LLC Twitter wasn't. It says, need a new ride? Start your LLC and file taxes on it. Open a bank account. Find a dealership with a fleet manager and get any whip you want. Survey says, First of all, you're not going to get business credit in pretty much any amount with a newly formed business without agreeing to be personally liable. This means that you'll need to use your personal credit in order to get access to business credit. At least at first you will. As far as buying a car through your LLC, is it possible? Absolutely. But you'll need to qualify for the loan. If you just started an LLC but don't actually have an operating business, no bank is going to finance a luxury car for you. And if you somehow found one that would finance you, how are you going to meet the monthly car payments if you don't actually have a real business? If you're forming an LLC just to buy luxury cars or obtain consumer credit, it's a really bad idea, and you don't need an LLC. But if you're looking for ideas on how to properly structure a car purchase through a real legitimate business, then check this video out. Even though most of you don't really need an LLC, there are some circumstances where I do strongly recommend it. Okay, so the first one is when you are a landlord or a buy and hold property owner. In most circumstances, if you want to hold real estate in an entity that is separate from your own personal assets, and an LLC is the entity of choice, right? Note that if you are a rehabber and a buy and sell real estate investor, I'm usually going to recommend an S Corp instead of an LLC. But if you're a landlord and you're holding property and you're renting them out, an LLC is the way to go. Another example of when you should consider an LLC is when your business has multiple owners. When you have several owners for one business, then an LLC is a good business entity. Another situation where an LLC is the right move is when you own a business that's making money, but you also have other valuable assets as well on the personal side, right? So let's say you want to start a small business, but you already have $1 million in an investment account. You don't want to put your investment at risk because of liability arising from the small business. So in that case, an LLC is the way to go. Finally, if your business is in an industry that is frequently the target of litigation, then you really probably do want to seriously consider at least getting an LLC. You might want to have multiple entities. Like, for example, if you're a medical doctor, and you're operating in a medical field, you already know you need an LLC for asset protection purposes. All right. So before I end this video, I just want to remind you again that if you owe back taxes, I want you to know that there are special programs in place to help you get a fresh start. But how do you know if you qualify? You see, no two cases are exactly alike. So how do you know how much you can settle for if you owe the IRS? Well, I've developed a free tool to help you get qualified for a fresh start. Just head over to www.LEVY-KING.com or click the link below, follow the prompts and answer a few simple questions, and I'll help you figure out your eligibility. That website again is www.LEVY-KING.com, or you can give us a call at 1-877-LEVY-KING. That number again, you see it there, 1-877-LEVY-KING. That's it for this week, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.